Hey, future homeowners, it's Colin Boyer, your Pennsylvania and Maryland Realtor, and today I want to talk about Pennsylvania and Maryland first-time homebuyer programs to see how we can help you get into a house with a first-time loan program or a first-time homebuyer grant to help you either minimize your closing costs or get some beneficial loan products for you. Purchase this property and completely re-renovated everything. It's Colin Boyer, your Pennsylvania Realtor. Here in York County, Pennsylvania. So if we can help you out in Pennsylvania and Maryland before we get into the video, and I'll do this at the end as well so you remember, if we can help you out, send me a text, send me an email, give me a call, or schedule down below in my Calendly link in the description so that we can have a Zoom consultation to chat with you, but feel free to reach out to me any of those ways. So let's talk about some of these programs. So some that come to mind: FHA, PHFA, USDA. A common misconception is a lot of these and a majority of these are not just first-time buyer programs. There's other programs that are really unheard of, like a first-time buyer conventional loan. So it's a conventional loan, but you don't have to put 20% down. You can put a minimum of 3% down if you qualify, plus your closing costs. That is where they get you sometimes. I will be honest, in Pennsylvania and Maryland, you typically have another 5 to 7% in closing costs on top of what you're putting down as your down payment. The good news is sometimes we have grants that we can get approved for, and sometimes there's other ways to get your closing costs built in so that you're not having to put as much down. But let's talk about FHA. So what is FHA? It's a very common misconception. FHA is not a first-time buyer program. It's an anybody program. If you're able to get qualified for FHA, there's a few things that you have to do. Luckily, it is one of the programs that your credit score is the lowest it can be. You can do from about a 580 and above, depending on your debt-to-income ratio. If we can help you out with any of these products, we would introduce you to a wonderful local lender we work with all the time, Friedmont Mortgage. So if we connect, we'll get you connected with them so that they can help you out. But FHA is 3.5% down plus your closing costs. So sometimes you can get your closing costs in Seller's Assist covered as well. But if you've got the 3.5% and you've got the additional 5 to 7% in closing costs, you're able to be more competitive and not have to deal with some of the houses that might have been on the market a little bit longer, just if we're having to ask the sellers for some closing cost assistance. So FHA is a great program. You can actually use it as many times as you want. It's not just for first-time buyers. I have clients that have an FHA property now, and their next property will be FHA. It's just you can only have one at a time. And then let's talk about the first-time conventional buyer. So that's 3% down plus your 5 to 7% in closing costs. And you can kind of do the same thing with FHA, except you're not allowed to ask for as much in closing cost assistance. So you can ask for 3% closing cost assistance for conventional, whereas FHA, you can ask for 6% closing cost assistance. So you can get a little bit more bang for your buck with FHA if you're able to get seller assistance, whereas conventional, you have to have a little bit more to put down, even though it's the 3% opposed to the 3.5%. Now, PHFA is a grant. It's not associated with FHA. PHFA is its own thing. So basically what it is it's a grant, typically from your state. So the state's going to give you a portion, typically 5% of your closing costs that you don't have to ask the seller for, which is nice because if we're competing, we can have the state cover it versus the seller, where you don't have to, knock the seller's price down even if you're full price and asking for closing cost assistance. So you can be more competitive and still bid against other offers so that you might not lose out because you're asking the seller to give you a little bit of their money back. So the PHFA will give you about 5% towards your closing costs. There are some loan and credit restrictions with it though. So you have to be above a certain credit limit and you have to have a certain debt to income ratio just to make sure that, you're going to pay that money back. The state really wants their money, so they want to make sure that they're able to get that back from you. So you're able to go PHFA as well. And you can tie that together with other loan products. You can tie it together with your FHA, or you can tie it together with your conventional loan. And it's something that if you live in the house for, it's about 10 years, I want to say, 5 to 10 years. If you live past 10 years, you don't have to pay any of the money back. But if you do sell it before then, let's say you sell your home in 3 years, you might have to pay some of that money back. So it helps you kind of get rid of some of that initial upfront down payment, but you might have to pay a little bit back, but it helps you get into the house, which is a wonderful thing, especially for first-time buyers. And you can use these products for regular resale houses. You can use them for new construction. It's all over the place. You have tons of different options. Now, let's talk about USDA. USDA is 0% down. I always like to do the air quotes because it's not really 0%. I'm sure you're going to already know it already, but it's 5 to 7% in closing costs still. So you're putting 0% down towards your original down payment and towards your principal, but you still have to pay those other closing costs to make sure that you're able to still pay those taxes and the transfer tax and all of that not really fun stuff that we have to pay that they don't really tell you about whenever you see a headline for 3.5% down or 0% down loans. So you still do have to have some money. Unfortunately, I know we can't get into houses for free, but you still do have to have a little bit of money there to put down. But the good news is with USDA, we can still ask for some closing cost assistance, and I've had people get into properties for $500, $2,000, but USDA, you're going to have more strict income limits, and you're going to have more strict credit limits, and USDA, you're going to be limited to certain areas. You're not going to be able to be in big cities or be in, like here, Harrisburg City. You're not going to be able to be in Harrisburg City. You have to look up the USDA eligibility map to make sure that you're in an area that they are loaning USDA on. So it has to be something that really does truly work out, and you can't be in certain locations. So you're going to be a little bit more limited. So if you're looking to be in particular locations and you don't want to be more rural, or you don't want to be somewhere that's USDA qualified, you might have to look at different options. And VA is sort of similar to USDA, except it's a little bit more strict because it's only for veterans, but you can be in any area you want. It just has to pass the VA appraisal, and you have to have the termite inspection, and if you're on a well, you have to have your water inspection as well. If you're on public, you don't have to, but it has to have that termite inspection to make sure that it's good. So there's tons of different options, and there's even more programs out there than I was able to talk about. So if we can help you guys out with especially first-time buyers, but also if you're looking to buy your second house, third house, your 100th house, or you're an investor, or you're looking to list your home as well. My name's Collin Boyer. I'm your Pennsylvania and Maryland Realtor. If we can help you out, send me a text, send me an email, a DM, give me a phone call, schedule down below in the link in my description to my Calendly. We can set up a consultation call or Zoom so that we can see if we're a good fit to help you out. We have clients looking in 9 days, 9 months, 9 years, whenever. So if we can help you, feel free to reach out, completely free. And I look forward to you guys connecting with us on our next video. Thanks.